Playing fullback position is not about how can you create the game, how can you change the result of the game. Being an excellent fullback makes your coach's job incredibly easy. Fullback's job is what you can do to create space for your team, create gaps for your team. Because if you have excellent positioning as a fullback, you know when to overlap, you know who to cover, and you know what kind of runs you need to make to stretch the opposition. And that's exactly what a good fullback is. Yes, you do have defensive jobs, and yes, you do have to support your attack once in a while. But most importantly, your positioning has to be excellent if you want to be a successful fullback. Because if you are a fullback with excellent positional knowledge, now your entire team is gonna trust you. Your coach is gonna trust you. Your winger is gonna trust you. Your center mids are gonna trust you when they support the attack or when they are coming to defend and you got caught off position. If you don't know these tricks positionally as a fullback, now center mid cannot leave their position easily because you as a fullback are not where you're supposed to be. Your winger trusting you, your center mid trusting you means they are playing more comfortable. They can conserve energy. You can conserve energy because if a winger trusts their fullback, they won't need to run as much. Otherwise, they'll be running up and down the field like a headless chicken to cover the places that you left open. Once the football mastermind Johan Cruyff said, you need to make the pitch as big as possible when your team is attacking. You need to make the pitch as small as possible when the opposition is attacking. Your job is to stay wide and give options to your team and stretch the opposition centrally. That's exactly what your main job is as a fullback when your team is attacking. If you get too tight centrally, or if you don't leave your original fullback position to support high up, now the opposition will not be stretching. Now the opposition will be very tight in the central area. Now your team will be having a very hard time to find those central channels to progress the game. And your job is exactly this when your team is attacking as a fullback. But most importantly, you really need to focus on how can you be really wide so the opposition stretches in the central area. If the opposition is really disciplined, they're gonna stay compact. Now it's your job to receive the ball out wide and maybe try to find those gaps from the wide side to the central area. Or if your winger is making inverted runs, now you'll need to go up higher to support your attack. If your winger is staying wide and your central midfielder is not in the central area, now it's your job to make the inverted runs. We have to make sure when the fullback is supporting these attacking runs, somebody has to be covering, whether it's a central midfielder or the center backs, but somebody has to be dropping. If you are going up, they need to drop. If they are going up, now you need to be aware of those gaps that your team has left when your team is attacking. And this is basically what fullback is required to do when the team is attacking. And this is what a lot of amateur players makes big mistake, where you focus so much on what you can do with the ball, then you forget about your positional roles. And think about it this way. Let's say a very good, very talented player maximum keeps the ball on their feet about 30 seconds. Maybe not even. What do you do for the other 99.9% of the time? And that's what you need to figure out to become a successful football player. You can't think what you're gonna do with the ball because you only get to keep the ball for 30 seconds. It's more important to focus what you do when you don't touch the ball, because that's what's gonna be happening on the field for the most part. And this is why you need to understand and learn these triggers. This is why you need to understand when you need to be making these wide runs or when you need to be making these inverted runs when your team is attacking. And that's why I always talk about positional knowledge is a lot more important to know than what you can do with the ball. So make sure understand those triggers as well as understand exactly what your coach wants you to do as a fullback when your team is attacking. Now we get to the defending part of a fullback, because your defending job as a fullback is more important than what you can do attacking. You need to be there at all times to help your team defend. And if you're not there, you need to make sure that somebody is there. But if you don't know yourself what you need to do as a fullback defending, how are you going to explain it to your teammate? That's why you need to be really good defending positioning as a fullback. Defensively, you're gonna need to focus on the opposition's winger or the fullback if they come really high, because your winger most likely will be shifting central to cover the central channels. So now it leaves you with the fullback or the winger when they're coming high up, if the ball is on your side. It changes if the opposition is progressing the game from the opposite side. If the game is progressed from your side, now you have to step up and you have to force the opposition to go back. You have to press high, not too high, not too aggressive, but just enough so they don't use the channel on your side. They don't progress the game forward or central. If the game is progressing from the opposite side, now you kind of forget about the opposition's winger or fullback. You're shifting it. You can be holding the opposition's center defensive midfielder or the opposition's striker, or maybe if the winger is coming really deep into the 18. Now your winger is dealing with the opposition's fullback or maybe winger for the most part. When the game is progressing from the opposite side, you need to be shifting inside and closing what's in the 18, what's open, who is not being marked from the opposition's team. But you need to make sure that you're always in communication with your winger, so somebody behind you is always marked as well. And you need to have the ability to shoulder check at all times to see what's behind you. Or you need to listen to your goalkeeper, because your goalkeeper facing that way, so they are able to see what's going on within the 18 better than anybody else. It's also a very good idea when the opposition is progressing the game from your side to always kind of be slightly central, so you are giving the opposition the outside, not inside, because the inside is where the danger is. The outside could be dangerous, but not as dangerous. So you have to keep these priorities in your head at all times, because giving them the outside and maybe potentially forcing them to their weaker foot really gonna help your team to get a better shape, because now you're kind of stalling it. And these are the stuff that you really need to be excellent at as a fullback. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop a like, subscribe to my channel with the notifications on. You can also find my playlist right over here. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.